Welcome to Rich, Hot, and Free. I'm your host, Jill Stanton, and welcome to episode 0. Oh my God. This is a trip for me, guys. I can't believe I'm back in the podcast seat. I have taken a lot of years off hosting a show or any kind of consistent content in general. I've had a wild few years. And so really I wanted to shoot this episode 0, the backstory, as a way to just kind of fill you in on who I am, where I've been, what I'm up to, where I'm going, and what you can expect from this show. So this show is really for women entrepreneurs in the online expert space who are here to build something iconic. It's for women who want to show themselves what they're made of. It's for women who want to stretch themselves in service of growth and alignment and experiencing all of themselves, the ups, the downs, the stresses, the successes, the wins, the losses, all of it. It's for the women who have high standards and are unwilling to settle for anything less than all of what they want. Casual, I know. And mainly it's for the women who play to win. It's for the women who value courage in service of growth. It's for the women who value putting themselves out there. It's for women who value personal expansion and self-leadership and personal power and want to show themselves how big they can go. It's for the women who are so ready to cut the shit and have real conversations, even if not everyone agrees with them, even if the topics feel slightly daunting. I am so ready and excited and lit up at the thought of having conversations most people won't have in this space. I feel like that's why I maybe had to take a few years off to deepen my own courage and my own level of guts and bravery in order to step into the ring and have the kind of conversations I want to start having on this show. So this show is not for people who get very offended or triggered by things like topics they don't agree with or swearing, because there's going to be a lot of it. It's for women it's not for the women who are unwilling to go to bat for themselves. It's not for the women who make excuses or move in outrage or try to cancel other people or get all up in their head around shit that doesn't actually fucking matter. It's for the women who are courageous, audacious, and willing to go for it. So if that's you, I think you're going to love this show. And if nothing else, I'm going to love this show because it's the kind of show I wish was out there. I would love to hear women in this online expert space, women in the online entrepreneurship space, having challenging conversations that most people shy away from. So if that's you, if you also love that, if you can get down with that, then I think you're going to love the show. And truly, just before we go into the backstory and everything that I'm here to do, and everything that I want to share with you guys, really, I want you to know my heart and my intention for having this show. It's really to, like I said, have those conversations that I don't think a lot of people are having. Also to challenge a lot of norms that are out there right now. And also to shake people up, activate them, and give you a kick in the pants if you so desire one. I swear, it's like my dream job description to be able... It's going to sound so ridiculous. I tell this to my coaching clients and the women inside Lightyear is like, my dream job would be to be the boss of your life. Like, I would love to get paid to give you a kick in the pants and be the boss of your life and help you deepen your own leadership so you can make a stupid amount of money. And since there really isn't a job description for that yet, I figured the podcast is the next best spot to do that. So I want you to understand this right now before you listen to any other episodes. And I might regret saying this later, but we're just going to go for it. That right there is like the theme of the show. I might regret saying this later, but I'm just going to say it. It's like, I do not want to hold back or dim myself or drop my power or edit what I want to say or what I believe or the convictions I have, the beliefs I have. I feel like I've spent so long in this space. I've been in this online entrepreneurship space since 2012. We'll get into that in the backstory, but like, I feel as though for so many of those years, I edited what I actually wanted to say, or I dimmed my potency because I didn't want to ruffle feathers, or I didn't want to trigger anyone, or I didn't want to get called out or criticized or canceled. Turns out, even if you're not doing that, you still get criticized. And so I finally got out of my own fucking way and was like, what do I have to lose? I'd so much rather put a microphone in front of my face and say what I actually believe and what I'm here to talk about, and finally get my thoughts and my ideas and my activations and my kicks in the pants and my just the conversations that matter to me and the beliefs that I hold and the strategies that I use and everything that I've been talking to people about behind the scenes and not in front of a podcast mic. I'm so excited to bring that forward to this show. So I think, it probably goes without saying now, but I just feel like I should give you the 411 on who I am. So, I think this pretty much sums it up. I'm an Enneagram 8 and I'm a quad right splenic 1-4 manifester. So I'm a walking, talking activation. Essentially, I'm here to give you a strong ass kick in the pants in service of your highest alignment to catalyze or activate that next level of you. So that's what you can expect in this show. I really desire to not hold back and not mute myself, not dim what I want to say, not drop my power, so that I can really just be all of myself, because that is what lights me up when it comes to getting back in front of a podcast mic / camera and really starting to share my thoughts with the world again. So let me give you a little background on who I am, where I've been, what I've been up to, and all of that kind of stuff, just in case you're new to my world. So I started Screw the 9 to 5 with my husband, Josh. It's a brand we ran for over 10 years. We started that back in 2013. And we put it to rest in 2023. And over those 10 years, I've seen a lot in this space. I've seen multiple contractions in this space. I've seen people come and go. I've seen strategies come and go. I've seen trends come and go. I've seen offers come and go. I've seen a lot. I've experienced a lot. I've gone through a lot. I've had to navigate a lot. I've had a lot of wins and I've had a lot of challenging losses. And so back when we had Screw the 9 to 5, like I said, we had that for about 10 years and we built an insane community through that brand. It was called, like I said, the brand was Screw the 9 to 5, but the community called themselves Scroopies. Scroopies and Scramly. Like, we had our own lingo. It really was such a cool moment and cool chapter in my entrepreneurial life, one that I'm extremely grateful for now on the other side of it, and one that I've used to gain a ton of perspective and really deepen my own power, my own knowledge, my own wisdom, my own experience, my own coaching, all of my skills. I learned them inside Screw the 9 to 5, and everything I've done since then has been built off the back of that. It's been the deepening of it, the expansion of everything that I've become, learned, and helped people navigate. And so around the 10-year mark of Screw the 9 to 5, I really realized I had outgrown it, which, to be honest, like, if I'm keeping it really real, which is pretty much the only way I want to be on the show, that was a frightening time in my life, because this was probably like 2021, 2022. I had just started Millionaire Girls Club, and I was in a place where I knew I wanted to lean into that brand, but I felt such an insane level of guilt and almost like a level of shame of wanting to leave Screw the 9 to 5 because I had outgrown it. And I was deeply wanting to learn how to expand my knowledge and my wisdom and my expertise in other brands and in other business models and different business opportunities and skill sets and everything that I had to learn in order to go from a brand like Screw the 9 to 5, which was coaching up and coming entrepreneurs, into a brand like Millionaire Girls Club, which was hosting and facilitating high-end experiences and retreats for women who make over $1 million a year. So like, the identity shift I had to go through in order to be like really second in command. I really feel like I abdicated a lot of my own power inside Screw the 9 to 5, because for most of those years, for a good 7 to 8 years inside Screw the 9 to 5, again, we had that brand for 10 years, I operated under the firmly rooted belief that I was not smart. And so I pedestaled my husband. I made him the smart one. If you watch any of my stuff back from Screw the 9 to 5, there's so many instances where I say, Josh is the smart one. Josh is the coach. He's the teacher. He's the one people want to learn from. I'm the entertainment. No joke. I actually said that shit out loud. Looking back on that now, I see why I had to have that experience. But also looking back on that now, I'm like, damn, I had a very low self-image / self-esteem. I just really did not believe I was smart. And through the clusterfuck that was 2020, I finally started shedding the things that no longer serve me and stepping into a new level of my own power. And that's when MGC, Millionaire Girls Club, really started to take hold and really was really something that I started to powerfully step into. And so I started Millionaire Girls Club in 2021. But I still had like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I was still working in Screw the 9 to 5, still operating in the familiar, still doing what I knew, while subsequently feeling called to expand into this new brand, into this new way of my own leadership and what I want to be known for and my facilitation skills, my coaching skills. And so it was really just this like formative period in my entrepreneurial career where I was learning new skills and learning to become a different version of myself. During that time, also, my husband and I went through a metamorphosis in our marriage. I learned how to sell high ticket. I learned how to host events and I've always been a fantastic peopler and a fantastic connector, but now learning how to build a business through connections and networking and all of the things that I had to learn in order to support Millionaire Girls Club was formed during that period of like 2020 to 2023. And then in 2024 came this unexpected / can't ignore it level of intuition where slowly but surely I became aware of that Millionaire Girls Club was not my ultimate move. Now, that could have been because I was living in Thailand running a very North America-based business model based on events, which is really not that cohesive or it's really not that congruent to living in Thailand and having to do a lot of those trips. And so slowly but surely I started noticing cracks in Millionaire Girls Club. Not from a like facilitation standpoint or a client standpoint, I had some of the most magnetic, audacious, successful, generous, kind-hearted, expansive women who feel like a breath of fresh air, women who feel like a giant exhale, women who feel like a warm hug and like a ray of sunshine. And I am so grateful for the years that I ran Screw the 9 to 5. And then also in, April 2024 to June 2024, I went through this moment, kind of like the void. I entered the void essentially, where I just couldn't shake that MGC was no longer my move. And that I was being called to expand outside of just MGC. I was being called to expand, again, in my own knowledge, my own experience, my own wisdom, my own facilitation, what I want to be known for, what I want to talk about, what I want to sell, what I want to facilitate, what I want to be out there talking about, selling, creating content around. And so I entered the void. It was deeply, deeply uncomfortable because I had such a good thing going. I had such a good thing going with MGC. I had a fantastic roster of clients who were all in. And also during that time, the space had changed. Like a bunch of other chicks came into the space running programs and events and masterminds for women at 7 figures, which all good. Like you guys do your thing. Always a trailblazer, manifester in human design. And I just realized that I didn't want to play that game anymore. And what I really wanted was to start working with women around the stuff that I was already supporting my MGC clients with, which was all things personal power and identity and leadership and emotional intelligence and self-awareness and communication and relationships and all of the like soft skills / 90% of the fucking game that goes into winning the game of entrepreneurship. I wanted to start expanding my capacity to teach and lead around those topics even more than what I was doing inside Millionaire Girls Club. And so I made the decision to start the JS brand, the Jill Stanton coaching brand. And it's now been a year that I've had my JS brand. And that first 12 months of this coaching brand has felt wild, truthfully. Like, I set an intention when I finally made the decision to start my own coaching brand, which was actually like prompted by my husband, truthfully. He was like, Jill, I don't know why you're not just going all in. And I was like, what do you mean? I am all in. I'm doing MGC. Like, I was so resistant when he said, I don't know why you just don't go all in. And it was because I knew he was right. I knew that I was playing it safe. I was very much staying in my comfort zone. I knew how to connect with women. I knew how to create great experiences. I knew how to fly under the radar. I knew how to get people signed up for my stuff without really marketing it or being visible or putting myself out there the way that I knew I wanted to deep down. And when he finally prompted that for me, like, I don't know why you just don't go all in on your own coaching brand, that's when things started to get really interesting for me. So that was June 2024. And the next 2 months of that, so April 2024 to June 2024, I was in the dark, deep, endless void of just being like, what is happening? Why don't I want to do this anymore? Like, it felt very confusing. And then in June, when Josh said, I don't know why you just don't go all in and create your own coaching brand, because I was talking about like wanting to support women around mindset and identity and personal expansion and strategy and business growth and sales and making millions and all of this kind of stuff. When he said, I don't know why you don't just go all in. After that moment, I still had another 2 months where I was just all up in my head being like, what if they don't like it? What if I'm not known for something? What would I teach? What would I sell? What would I blah, blah, blah. Like, I was in the swirl, right? I was in the thought spiral of what if this doesn't work? What if no one likes it? What if people think I'm stupid? What if, all the stuff that can come up when you're getting ready to put yourself out there in a new way. And what finally snapped me out of that was really just a mix of like my own self-coaching, but also just giving myself the permission for once to be messy, to not have it all figured out, to not have all the answers and all the clarity, and to instead just take the first step. And so I set an intention for the first year of the JS coaching brand to just be an energy of fuck around and find out. That was my entire intention for the first 12 months of my business. So I started testing offers, and I slowly but surely started building the foundations of this business. So in that time, I've created 9 or 10 different offers, from audio activations to year-long group coaching programs to intensives to Voxer packages to live activations, like so many different formats in so many different categories, so many different topics. And I slowly but surely started building the foundations of what the JS brand is now. And most of all, I think this is probably the biggest part for me, at least, like on a personal level, is I allowed myself to shed the nice girl energy. That was, even though anyone who's known me in my past knows that I can be very brash and very sassy and tell it like it is, I still always came back to a place of trying to be more polite about it or censor myself a bit more. I don't know if that's my Canadian roots or not, but I always struggled with not being liked. I know that goes back to like my most formative years, where I had a good solid 10 years of really strained relationships with females. And I don't know why I said females, women, girls. And that really impacted me in the online space, because I'm sure you guys know, if you've been in this space for any amount of time, if you've done anything worth noting, you know that there's a whole lot of keyboard cowboys who will chirp at you in the comments behind their anonymous profiles or their fucking stupid profile pictures of dogs. And they will sit there and chirp at you. And if you do not have the sense of self and a level of courage and I don't give a fuckness, then that can really mess with you. And I think for years, I let that slow me down and I let that dim my potency. And over the last 12 months, I've slowly but surely been shedding that for myself so that I can come back into a place of deep emotional resonance with myself and who I know I am at my core. And the result of that has been a magical 12 months. Full of ups and downs still, obviously, full of successes and stresses, but more than anything, the thing that I've loved the most is my one guiding virtue for this entire last 12 months has been courage. every single time I get into a place of fear or worry or what if this doesn't work or struggling with uncertainty, I always prompt myself to come back to, if I were leading myself from a place of courage, how would I do this? Or what would I do about this? Or how would I think about this? Or what would I say here? Or what would I allow or not allow? What would I be available for or not available for? And that one question, how would I lead myself? What would I do from a place of courage? Has been leading me for the last 12 months. And it's exactly what has brought me here to this podcast right now, even though it feels so uncomfortable for me. I haven't talked on a podcast mic to just a camera staring me in my face with no one else around really in years. I haven't done a consistent podcast that hasn't been scripted or heavily outlined ever. How fucking crazy is that to say? I have not had, this is my first ever podcast episode that I've ever shot on my own that has not been scripted. What? So yeah, it feels real uncomfortable right now, guys. And I'm sure I'm going to do a lot of editing to clean this up. But I know I'll find my feet. I know I am meant to do this. I feel such a call. I've been fucking around with the idea of a podcast for months, but it's never felt right until now. Like literally today, I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to start shooting it. I got the podcast set up. I found the name. I don't know how it wasn't taken. I got the name. I got the show up. And now I'm sitting in front of you right here recording with no script, no outline. I'm just like, who is this? So this is my metamorphosis. This is where I've been. This is what I've been going through. I've had a lot of moments that felt like such a thrill, where things are just clicking and flowing and it feels like easy breezy success. And I've had some of the darkest, most uncertain moments that I've ever navigated over the last 12 months. Turns out when you really go all in on yourself with like no plan B, I've always had a plan B. Keep in mind, I used my husband as a crutch for 10 plus years. Before Screw the 9 to 5, we had a business before that. Before that, I had my own service business and I still used him as a crutch. So we have been together, Josh and I have been together for 16 plus years. This is the first time where I haven't used him as a crutch. That is wild to me. So it feels exciting / terrifying to be sitting in front of you with no real plan, no script, feeling very unpolished in how I'm like delivering this, and just knowing that, trusting that this is just the beginning. And the beautiful part about this last year for me is, and this is going to sound funny because for people who aren't at this, well, I don't want to say at this level because it sounds so fucking condescending, but like for people whose business isn't at this stage yet, it's felt really interesting for me to have a year that feels like, quote unquote, like slow sales. Now, I'm going to say an amount that if you're just in the earlier stages of your business, you're going to be like, I wish I could get that. But like, please remember, I've made over $7 million in this space. So then to start my own thing from scratch, pretty much, no audience, like really that was the most surprising thing for me, because it's not like I had the Screw audience to fall back on. I wasn't going to use the customer list from that. I didn't use the email list, obviously. Like I didn't really use a lot of the assets that I had from Screw the 9 to 5 all those years ago, because I want the people who are being called into the JS brand to actually be called into the JS brand based on the content and the offers and the messaging and the frequency and the direction that it's going. I don't just want to plug people into my stuff just because they once knew me online a couple years ago. And so starting fresh and operating in an energy of fuck around and find out for the last 12 months has landed me over 400 new customers, which feels wild. And I'm so unbelievably grateful for it. We've done almost $300,000 in sales in the first 12 months of the business. I built programs that I'm absolutely obsessed with. I have a program called Lightyear. It's a 12-month all access meets group coaching meets luxury retreat vibe. And the women who are in there are just go-getters, man. Like even if they're not where they want to be yet, everyone is making moves. Everyone is taking action. Everyone is leaning into discomfort in service of growth. And so I've had a fantastic experience that has been full of contrast. Really. If I had to break it down one way, it would be this year has felt full of contrast. It's had highs and lows, stresses and successes, wins and losses, certainty and uncertainty, confidence and insecurity. I've had highs with my husband and really low lows over the last 12 months. My husband's gone through so many health things that have just felt so fucking dark in our lives and like in his own health and his well-being and stuff like that. And so, I feel like I'm getting into a Dear Diary moment, but really the thing that I'm the most grateful for over the last 12 months is who I've become. I feel like I have a deeper level of conviction, a deeper level of self-trust than I've ever had, a deeper level of certainty in myself and my skills and my wisdom and my experience and my ability to coach and activate and catalyze people. I know that I am right where I'm supposed to be, even if I am, quote unquote, not where I want to be yet. This is the beginning. And so I am just so grateful for anyone who's tuning into the backstory right now, anyone who's hitting play on episode 0. I'm so grateful for you listening. And hi, so good to connect with you. I hope you stick around for a while. And really, it's just been a big fucking year, guys. Not even from just like a work perspective, but I've also unlocked some of the most like loving, deeply connected, nourishing, transparent, reciprocal friendships. I could just go off and name so many people, but I feel like this is like an award ceremony where I'm going to be like, and Jade, and Erica, and Caitlin, and Cora, and so-and-so, and Alyssa, and Amber. But there's just been so many women who have been so pivotal to my last 12 months that I will forever appreciate and love and be grateful to. So it's been a big fucking year, a huge year of expansion, and I am just so excited for this next chapter and the level of authenticity I intend to bring, and more than anything, the level of audacity I'm ready to step into. And honestly, like just keeping it really fucking real on this show. And really more than anything, I really want to stay true to the intention behind this show, rich, hot, and free. That means I'm going to be talking about topics that you might not necessarily like, but in the intention of staying in an energy of freedom, I'm going to talk about them. And so if you get triggered or activated or offended by certain topics that you might not agree with, certain values, certain red pill topics, like I'm going there. There's no way I'm going to have a podcast and not talk about what I want. There's no way I'm going to have a podcast and cater to the internet keyboard cowboys who don't do shit in the online space other than criticize and judge people and kick up a fuss if they talk about shit that they don't agree with. If that's you, please do not listen to the show, because I most certainly will trigger you. In fact, I hope I do, truly, because I refuse to cover topics that don't zing with me. I will also never interview someone or do an episode just to fill a publishing schedule. Never. I'll never interview someone just to fill a slot. I'll never cover topics that go against my values. And so, yeah, it will probably ruffle some feathers. But the ones who can handle it, I think you're going to love this show. So, there will be polarizing topics. There will be polarizing guests. There will be polarizing viewpoints. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about identity. We're going to talk about getting red pilled. We'll talk about money. We'll talk about reinventing yourself. We'll talk about living an unconventional life. We'll talk about building an insane amount of wealth that most people can't relate to. We'll talk about strategies that go against the norm. We'll talk about doing things our way. So yes, it will ruffle some feathers. And that's what I'm the most excited about. Also, there will be a fuck ton of swearing. Every single episode will probably be explicit. So if you get offended by that, please do not listen. Please do not subscribe to the show, because honestly, I really don't want to hear about it. So yes, this will trigger some people. If that's you, if you get triggered or offended by swearing or polarizing topics or things that you don't agree with, do me a favor and please do not listen or subscribe to the show, because I am unavailable for your outrage just because I choose to communicate a certain way or cover a certain topic, okay? So I don't need this show to be perfect for everyone. I just need it to be powerful for the right ones. That's who I'm here to serve. And I have a feeling the right ones will zing with it. And ultimately, they're really the only ones I'm here to serve anyways. So thank you for joining me for episode 0 and listening to the backstory and joining me as I jumble all my thoughts together and get them all out there. Like I said, this is the most spur of the moment recording. I kind of like that feel though, because it feels very present, very me, very in the moment. So again, just thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you're still listening to this, if you haven't shut it off because I've been all up in my swear words today, I appreciate you. And I'm excited to grow with you. I'm excited to deepen this conversation with you. I'm excited to see how big and expansive and potent this show can get. I'm excited to have these conversations with you. And also, I would love to hear from you. So if you're listening to this right now, or if you're listening to any of the other episodes in the queue that is here for the launch of this podcast, I would love to hear what comes up for you. What does it activate in you? What does it jostle for you? What does it make you think of? What does it bring up for you? All you got to do is shoot me a DM on IG at I am Jill Stanton, and I would love to connect with you. One of my favorite things is connecting in the DMs. I also just have to say this about social media, quick tangent, is because I'm quote unquote trying to get better with social media. I love the social aspect of social media. So I love chatting in the DMs. Do I love sitting there with my face on stories every day? Fuck no. But I do love talking to you in the DMs. So if anything stands out for you from this episode or any of the future episodes, I would love to hear from you. All you got to do is shoot me a DM or take a snapshot of this episode, post it on your stories, and share a takeaway. And tag me, of course. I would love to see what comes up for you and what it opens up for you. So thank you again so much for joining me for the start of this new era. Ooh, I should have called it, what could we call this era? I don't know, no fucks given. That seems about right. Expansive / no fucks given / zero apologies / potency era. That's pretty much what it is. All the hyphens. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'm getting into rambling mode. So thank you so much for joining me. I would love to connect with you on IG at I am Jill Stanton, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.